Mr. Chairman, sir, at the outset, I wish to express my great pleasure at the Governor's address being delivered in the month of February like last year. I hope and trust that this will be the tradition in future because it gives us an opportunity to review not only government activities but what is proposed to be done during the coming year. Before I pass on to the subject matter of the Governor's address, I wish to make a plea to the government to consider what I have been stressing in the past, namely the establishment of consultative councils for all the ministers in the state. I would also like to congratulate the Honorable the Minister for Energy on being the first minister to constitute the consultative committee on power. In offering this congratulation, I hope I will not be mistaken because I have been elected as a member of the Consultative Council on Power. I only want to mention that these consultative councils could be powerful institutions for rectifying many of the defects that we notice in the day to day administration of government. Even in the first meeting of the Consultative Committee on Power, we are able to deal with many subjects, and members were really pleased that they had an opportunity of knowing the government's viewpoint on matters on which we give notices of motion, questions, etc. When only after a great deal we obtain the government's answers to many questions we had in the mind. I would therefore plead with the other honorable minister that they may also constitute these advisory councils in their respective ministries. I am very glad to know that the transport minister also formed a consultative committee, and I hope and trust that all other ministers will follow that. Coming to the governor's address, may I first express my happiness on the very many good schemes that have been proposed, especially the laudable project of providing house sites for all people living in the rural areas and the construction of 1 lakh houses through cooperative societies with subsidy element for the people belonging to the weaker sections. In providing house sites for persons in the rural areas, I may suggest that the time to act is the present because the price of land is increasing at such an extent that the more we delay the project, the less will the government be able to fulfill its objective of giving house sites to all people in our rural areas. We do have large open spaces in all our villages, and I hope that in the coming budget a substantial allocation will be made in this regard. I am not pleading for the construction of houses because I know that it is impossible to provide a house for everyone who does not have a house in the state. But in the matter of providing house sites and developed house sites, we can and should do something in the rural areas, and I think this is a measure which will receive a large amount of support from the members of the house. Reference has been made in the governor's address to one very important aspect of government's policy in regard to the industrialization of our state. All governments, including the central government, have been talking a great deal about industrialization both in the central and state sectors and about heavy industries, medium industries, small scale industries, and rural industries. Very many schemes have been introduced in the recent past, and especially The establishment of what are known as the district industrial centers. Dear sirs, we acknowledge the receipt of your letter of 5th instant and happy to learn the legal services that you can provide to us in the matter of cases pending before various courts. In fact, we do require a firm of able lawyers who can appear and present the cases efficiently and effectively on our behalf and handle all cases in general and labor disputes in particular. You are aware that since trade unions' activities have been allowed to increase day by day, the relationship between the management and the workers, not only in our organization but also others, is more and more deteriorating. I would like to make it clear that we do not want a sister firm who will try to engage other lawyers also. We would like to have a group of dedicated lawyers who plead our cases on our behalf in district labor courts in the state. If you therefore feel that you can carry on with such a responsibility and have able pleaders in your firm itself who do not need outside help, we have no objection in entrusting our labor matters to you. We actually wanted a firm of lawyers who could handle all types of cases. But since labor cases are special branch of law, we think it is advisable to engage a firm of lawyers dealing with the labor disputes. Please send your representative to meet our general manager. Yours faithfully.